Hey guys, welcome to Joy of the Trade. Today is Monday. I want to preview an important number this week. There's a lot of important numbers this week. It's the last week of May. The whole sell in May and go away. Memorial Day weekend. It's a real summer actually in the United States. People are, chomping at the bit to go do some vacation stuff with their friends, with their families, to live life, to experience life. But before we get to that fun in the sun weekend, we've got some big numbers to chew on. And as we move through the meat of earnings season, economic numbers become big catalysts in moving around some volatility, creating some opportunities to trade. So I'm going to look at one particular number this week that's really interesting coming up on the 25th. Let me share my screen and we'll talk about it. All right. So the earliest number, or the biggest number in the beginning of this week to pay attention to is this new home sales number. And this is a number that people are expecting close to 1 million new homes. So March's number, which was reported in April, was over 1 million. It was the biggest number since 2006. Okay, now keep that in your head. Biggest number since 2006 of new home sales. April, they're expecting a slight decrease, but let's go back and look at what they were expecting in April and got disappointed on from a surprise standpoint. So if we look back, there's been some seriously incorrect guesstimations or surveys of what's going to happen this month. So the biggest one was change in non-farm payrolls on the 7th of May. They expected 1 million new jobs to be created in April, and they got 266,000. Remember, that was a horrible miss and created some big bad moves that day. But then we also got this CPI, which was totally off in April. They were expecting 3.6, and this is, of course, the inflation number, right? So what happened in April? If we're going on the consistency of what we've seen already, inflation ticked up in a big way in April. Jobs, that might have been a headwind for jobs. It might not have been a headwind for jobs. That's for people way smarter than me to argue and debate on. But I've noticed a pattern of disappointment so far. So let's go back to this new housing starts that everybody's going to be watching tomorrow. This new housing, right? And so we've got what was it, 1 million? Okay, yeah, new home sales here. So we've got 950 is what they're expecting. And if we compare this to the home builders index, for instance, check this out. This is still ticked up, but the home builders are starting to sag here. The stocks are starting to get a little bit weak. And if we look underneath it, so I think we might have a miss here. And you might see, this is my speculative brain, my speculative cap. Let's look at what what the home builders did last month when they came out with the strongest new home sales number on the 23rd since 2006. You would expect the stocks to be up a gazillion percent. They were not. On the 23rd, they opened at 74.06 and it closed at 75.12. Modest move, up 1.5%. But here we are now, off the highs, breaking this 50-day moving average. A bad number, I think we come back down here, test 100 moving average, and we're going to consolidate somewhere in the mid-60s. That'd be my best guess. I hope you liked the top-down approach that I took to a sector today, starting with an macroeconomic situation, looking at the trend and the pattern that we've seen so far this month in economic releases, and then boiling it down to what the stocks might do. So I'd be a little bit cautious around the home builder stocks right now, and let's see how it plays out. I'll be back with more content like this all week. If you liked it, please like this video. If you haven't already, subscribe to Wealth Press on YouTube. LFG guys. Again, I'm Jeff Zananiri at Joy of the Trade.